Hello and greetings to the Netherlands. In your country, flooding events have been a serious issue for decades now, and will become even more important in the not-too-distant future. Here in Germany, we are striving for the same level of awareness among our population. That's why we created DamVIS, a serious game that helps you deal with the various dangers and scenarios of flooding events. So let's have a look at our project. As you can see, our software is currently only available in German language, so we will try to explain to you the basics of the game. We have a total of 4 possible scenarios, with various tasks and levels of difficulty to choose from. In this tutorial, we will show you the very first scenario, which is a fairly easy one. Alright, let's just skip that. Okay, so after a somewhat hysterical phone call from a friend who accidentally happens to be on a vacation trip, we have now arrived at his house to take care of things before the flood washes away all his worldly possessions. So how do we start then? Well, navigation could be an interesting thing. To take a look around the scenery, we simply hold down the right mouse button and move the mouse. And if we want to relocate our position, we can do a left click on one of these waypoints. We have now reached our friend's mailbox, and the green arrow floating above it indicates that maybe we should have a closer look. If we open it, today's newspaper will provide us with some valuable clues on how high the flooding level will rise and how much time we have left. Observations and gathered information like these are stored in our very own file of facts, where they can be recalled at any time. Our next step should be to find a way into the house. As we can see, the front door is locked. To keep it simple in the first scenario, some parts of the environment, like the garden or the garage, are not taken into account yet. Luckily, from the intro I skipped earlier, we should remember that the spare key is hidden under the doormat. So we click on that, and there is our very first item. We can now use the key to unlock the door and enter the house. DamVIS features an extensive furniture library, holding more than 100 objects that were exclusively designed for the game, each piece with its own distinctive behavior when getting in contact with water. The next green arrow draws our attention to some recent blueprints of the house. If we pick them up, we get our very own mini-map, which should help us navigate through the environment. As our new minimap shows us, we are currently in the living room. So, how about watching some TV?
Willkommen bei SchaVIS TV. Wetter. Tja.
Okay, let's skip this for now. Reading the newspaper is always a good start, but DamVIS also teaches you to obtain information from a wide variety of other media, like television, radio, or the internet. Close examination and exploration are central aspects of the game's philosophy. So, let's proceed to the next room. The kitchen is a good example for the countless ways of interaction with your environment that DamVIS has to offer. Certain pieces of furniture might need some extra handling, because they are either piped, loaded, or simply too heavy for transportation. The game will take an automatic note according to our observation for us to recapitulate in our file of facts.
Ah, hi, da bist du ja endlich. Wurde aber auch Zeit. Ich hab...
Distressing phone calls like this are just one of the many types of scripted events you will come across while playing. While exposed to the stress of an actual event, you will have to deal with distressing and sometimes life-endangering factors, like darkness, blocked doors, dangerous chemicals, and electrocution. From what we know right now, only the basement will be affected by the flood, so maybe we should have a closer look down there. We use our spare key once again and find a laundry room with a huge oil tank in it, hinted at by yet another green arrow. We examine it more closely and also have a look at its filling level to determine how to best secure it. Along with it, we have yet another observation written down in our quest log. We have now reached a point in our preparations where we can use our car for a one-time drive to the local hardware store to purchase various tools and instruments that help us take action in the upcoming events. Welcome to our very own hardware store that specializes on equipment for flooding events. Buying some sandbags might seem like a good idea to you at the moment, but then again, we only have a fence surrounding our garden, and not a massive wall like in later scenarios. Buying not every item, but the right items is one of the many goals DamVIS is trying to achieve. The player has to apply a certain amount of logic and pay attention to the details of his friend's house. How many windows are on the basement level? How many doors need to be wedged? So for the moment we might be better off with just a hammer, a pipe wrench, and maybe some working gloves. Back at the house we can now use all of the tools previously found and purchased to actively remove hazards, evacuate furniture, and secure parts of the overall architecture. Every measure taken will cost us a certain amount of time, and prioritizing actions is an important lesson within DamVIS. So let's start off by securing the oil tank, preventing it from getting damaged by the pressure, which could otherwise lead to severe environmental contamination. And after that we might want to unpipe the laundry machine and the dryer. So what else to do? Hey, that couch looks expensive, why not transport it to higher ground? And maybe that tabletop soccer might make for some sentimental value, so we quickly disassemble it into smaller parts. Finally, wedging the doors can be a real lifesaver, and might give us just the right amount of time to clear out this rag. At the end of each scenario, your efforts will be evaluated, and you will be awarded special badges for extra thoughtful decisions. Note that over the course of the following scenarios, the difficulty level will intensify, and you will also have to deal with things like sandbagged walls, montage barriers, electric circuits and pressure locks. You will learn how to take care of your pets during a flood, evacuate your cars and motorcycles, and handle environmental hazards, such as oil and chemicals. Okay, that's pretty much all for now. Hope you enjoyed it.